Hiboson here. Welcome back this week. This weekend I did actually manage to spend some time with a 3D printer. You can see it's not here, it is sat over here at the moment, but it's kind of where it's going to live for now because I found that moving it around a lot and everything, I think that was part of my problem because every time I moved it, it threw everything off and everything started getting loose and that. So I spent a nice little bit of time with it. I've done some tightening up, some calibrations, etc. As I was doing this, I had my phone on me, so I kind of vlogged as I went along the way a little bit. So I'll be putting some of that footage up there now. Be aware my phone, as I was using the forward-facing camera, not the one on the screen side, I couldn't see what it was filming sometimes, so occasionally the focus goes in and out. It's just what happened, unfortunately. In the future, if I'm going to do that, I'll probably use the screen side one, the forward facing, the facing one, because I think that'll just give me a lot better idea of what's going on. But because I was going to kind of then shoot and show things, then I could see on the screen what it was seeing, and I think that was more important than seeing when I was giving close-ups of little things like this. It's better that they were in focus rather than my mush, because well, nobody really cares about looking at that anyway. I try and cover it up with as much fur as possible, but you know, I can only get so much on there. Anyway, what I'll do now is I will switch into the vlog parts and I'll come back to you at the end. Now also, before I go into them, I did do some time-lapse parts and what have you. Some of the time-lapse was originally filmed on the phone, and then I had some memory issues and other things on the phone, so some of the time-lapses might jump along a little bit because the phone was just being a pain in the butt. But then later on I started to do the time-lapse on the upgrade parts, gives you a little hint of how things went, and then when they started to do that and I was having some long prints coming along, that's when I got the camera I'm using up here now out. So one of the prints started on the mobile phone, and then I switched to the camera, got up there because I could leave it powered on. I know I had tons of room and I could do some decent kind of time-lapse footage because there was like 5-6 hours worth of time-lapse in the end, or something along those lines. Anyway, that's enough of babbling now, so catch me babbling back at the weekend whilst I was trying to figure this out. Alright, let's carry on. I am trying to do a test piece, one that I've done before. It is currently going, hope you can see that there. Let's move this light. And it's looking like it's going alright. I've properly calibrated the bed this time. I'm currently using, rather than trying to print from SD, I'm currently using Frontiface. So I mainly want to use that because when things start going wrong on the printer printing from the SD card, it's a bit of a scramble to try and get that thing stopped before it wrecks itself. With bonus for this, I've got like a home button and a few other buttons and things on here I can hit to just literally stop it right there, and then pause button, stuff like that, and I don't have to navigate through some really weird tricky menus to get there in when I've got 0.0 seconds to try and react. So as much as I didn't want to tether it to a computer at the moment, until I get it dialed in, I'm happy it's doing what it should be doing. I'm going to run out of Frontiface at the moment. But anyway, I'm going to get back to this and see how it goes. I'll just sort of quickly go over what piece I am printing here. It's one I've tried before. It is one with a 30mm by 30mm base. It's nothing huge or fantastic, but then after about 10mm it switches to 10 by 10 in the corner going up. Now if I bring up the Cura model, unfortunately you can't see it very well on Cura because my graphical settings of mean rather than going to the nice pretty yellow it goes black, but I think you can get the idea from this what shape I'm printing. Now last time when I printed that, it was doing all great until it got to the thin bit, and then from what people have said, heat build up meant so far up eventually it just started to, and then see what I need to tweak to stop that little 10mm section from melting, because obviously I need to know if I'm doing several thin layers or something that's going to be really quick. It's not all going to melt on me, so I need to figure out what's the minimum kind of print time per layer. So even if it means he has to do a bit, wait, do a bit, wait, then that's how it's going to have to be. Anyway, I'm going to carry on with this, and there it is. It's only a few layers in, but it's all going well. Also, oh, let me get that right there. Basically, one of the things I did, I recalibrated the bed like I said, but I've not actually prepped the surface. That's just all the old glue on from last time. I thought the surface is pretty rough, so it should adhere. There's no reason why it shouldn't. If I pop back onto front face here, now I'm running slightly higher temps. I'm running, this is PLA, but I'm running at 205 on the nozzle and 70 on the bed. It's something, when I was watching the video of Barnacles, he said he likes to run PLA sometimes a little hot, and the bed a little hot, and it seems to go better for him. So I thought, I'll give that a go. And at the moment, seems to be working. Before I started printing just here, I did tighten up all of the nuts and bits I could find holding in the rods and etc. I didn't really want to tighten them up much harder because I thought, you know, it could break the thing. So I went round them one at a time thinking, oh, I've got a bit more, but eventually what happened is what I thought would happen. And on the very rear one at the back here, I don't know if you can see this, this is printing, let me zoom in. You can see how that's cracked. So yep, so it did exactly what I thought was going to happen, and by over tightening it, this plastic just isn't really up to the job. I think, you know, at the end of the day, if there's different ones you're looking at there and one's got like the wooden frame, I think that's probably going to be the better bet. You know, yeah, the plastic's really pretty compared to the wood, you know, shiny, clear, and in this case clear, or nice solid colours or whatever, but I just think durability wise, the wood's probably going to win out. As you can see, it is now done. I can't get that off there immediately this instant, but have had the same kind of melting issues, but I'm actually not that bothered by that. The fact that it's actually printed, stuck to the bed and printed, I'm quite happy about it. It's a step forward from where I was last time. So I'm gonna try and grab this off here, and let's come back to that in just a sec. Okay, I now have this off, and it's got a little bit of deformation at the rear and a bit more at the rear here, just a little bit at the front, and the usual tiny little hole in the top there. So not ideal, but I do believe that this is something I can now work from. From here I've got a position to start from, and I need to look at, you know, now that nozzle temperature, maybe it was a bit too high, 205, but it was doing that to me on 195 previously, so I think if I go much lower, it's just not going to actually extrude anything, because I don't think the hot ends are the world's best on this, and that's exactly what everybody else has told me as well. But I got a funny feeling if I can do things like look at the minimum time per layer, up that, and hopefully maybe that'll cure it. So let's see. I'm going to carry on playing that and come back to you later. Alrighty-o, I have just printed a second piece. This is the first piece right here, and this is the second one. Now this one has come out a lot better. I used the slicer slicing software rather than Cura this time, and played with a few settings and what have you. And although this isn't perfect, it's still got some. Let's pop that there. Still got some deformation on the rear there. It's way less than that one. So that one, you can see how messed up that one was. I'm sorry the lighting's not exactly helping here, but I think you can see how much, especially what I would say from the front. As you can see on the front, just seems to be a lot nicer. So, and I think the reason for that is quite simple, which is it is overheating. Each one of these layers took a bit longer as well. These took about 20 seconds odd per layer for that bit there, whereas that was only taking about 13. This one, it seemed to print more solid as well. I wasn't really using a walled with a thin bit, you know. I'll get my words right in a minute. Didn't have like a wall with a filler in infill, whereas that one, it went solid for some reason. So I think I'll give it a bit more material, etc. So now what I'm going to try and do, if it'll play ball, is I have downloaded a fan shroud thing that some people recommended to me, which is like a circular one that goes right round the nozzle, so it helps cool the bits from all directions. So I'm hoping, although this isn't 100% calibrated and all the millimeters are bang on, etc., I'm hoping it's going to be close enough to knock one of them out, or at least give me a chance to see whether it will even do one. Anyway, I'm going to try and get on with that now. Just finished its little over 3.5 hour print, and that's a new fan shroud that's going to replace that red bit there. There's another piece that I need to print for this, But what that does is it blows out all the way around the printer nozzle, so it should evenly cool the parts it's printing. There's still another piece to print, which is a bracket that holds it on. I don't know how long that's going to take. I'm going to get this popped off the bed, have a little look at it. It probably looks like it needs a little clean up, and then move on to printing the next part. Anyway, I'm going to get on with this. Okay, I've got the second part going now. This is about temp 5 or 6 or something like that. I can't even remember now. I found out one important thing, which is cleaning the nozzle is key. So thanks to some Brillo pad cleaning, it's seeming to, at the moment, dare I say, going alright at the moment. Let's hope that keeps it up. I hope. So this has got about an hour and 20 minutes on it now, so total about an hour 30 print this one. So I'm going to go and have some dinner in a minute, and hopefully when I come back this will be done. Anyway, here's hoping. Okay, that's just finished the second part of the fan shroud. That's the bit that holds it onto here and goes behind the squirrel cage fan there. And then I think that's to help where this bit pushes into the bottom of the squirrel cage fan. That goes onto the side, and you can put a couple of screws through or something to hold on to it. Anyway, I'm going to try and get this off here now. So there we go. You can now see that I actually managed to get quite a bit further along using my printer. There's still not, this piece here isn't brilliant. I'm still trying to learn some of the settings with that slicer tool. I was using like a hexagon infill, and I didn't realise how large this was set for. I thought it was going to be a lot tighter knit and what have you than this. There might be a bit of an image up here now showing you a little bit of it with light shining through to show you how kind of it was. So I've given you some close-ups in the top corner here so you can see what was going on with these, but I'm actually really happy. This piece came out brilliantly. I still have to do some tidy up and that on here. The back had a little bit of droopage because it was kind of a nice slant. but nothing that I worry about. It doesn't matter, it doesn't look pretty, it'll be functional, and that's the important bit. I'm hoping once this is on there with this bracket, then basically it might help these kind of, when I do a couple more of these in the future, they'll come out a lot nicer. So here's hoping on that. Now, recapping on things I have learnt during that one was obviously making sure the bed is perfectly calibrated as best as humanly possible. I did find using the laptop for doing that far easier, because trying to run through the menu and move it, you'd move like the X and test, I adjust the bed, and then by the time you go back to move that again, it's dropped back out of that menu back to the main menu. So I did find trying to do bed calibration using this screen a pain in the butt. So I using the laptop with front to face was so much easier for moving the head around and controlling the head while I was doing all that setup procedure. Now, although I was printing off the laptop, as you saw, my key is just to try and figure out what all the right settings are while I've got it hooked up to a laptop, and then basically go back to using an SD card in here, because I just don't want to have an extra piece of equipment in the equation if I don't need it. Other things I learned were obviously using Brillo pad or something similar, and keeping the head as clean as possible, because even though it looked like, well, those boogers are all off to one side and that shouldn't matter, sometimes these things have micro spider web things leading off, and if it's going past and the head's clean, it just brushes past it, but if it's dirty, that spider web can catch, and then that pulls up a bit for something else back the other way. And yeah, so I was being lazy before and that didn't help, so not being a lazy butt, lazy ass, and cleaning the head, that was an important stage as well. Other things were obviously tightening it all up, making sure it was a lot more stable of a system. As you saw, I did have that unfortunate break at the rear. It's nothing major though, there's enough support everywhere else that I don't have to worry about that, but it was just slightly annoying just to have that break. But all in all, I moved forward. I'm feeling a lot more happy now with it. The workshop is still a complete and utter tip, so I haven't tidied this up in here yet. I've just managed to just kind of shove enough around to give me a bit more space up this end at the moment. Unfortunately, the weather's suddenly turned now, and so I'm not sure how well I'm going to be able to be doing this whole clear out like I was hoping to. So, but that's my problem, not your problem, my problem. But I hope you enjoyed that. Next week, hopefully with any luck, they'll be getting fitted, and probably do a video on that, me fitting them and how that goes. I might have to reprint this part because this part might not be good enough, but I'll see. I'm going to try test fitting this piece at least, because as I haven't calibrated the X, Y and all of the steps and everything again, although I've done it in the past, I haven't done it again recently. This might not fit, and if it doesn't fit, if that doesn't all tally up, then I might have to reprint both of these. But you know what? I'm not bothered. The fact that I managed to make this happen, I'm happy about. Anyway, I will see you again next week. If you want to hit me up on Twitter or anything like that, catch me there. And like I've just said 2 seconds ago, I will see you again next week. Bye!